Okay, let's start here. Biden's been fired. We, the people, have spoken, given Trump a mandate for change. Now, in the normal world, and I'm sure, unfortunately, some of you face this, when you're fired from a company, there's a fairly simple procedure. The procedure is this: box up your stuff, they lock down your passwords, they take your keys, and you're escorted out of the building. Right? Pretty simple. Biden, of course, we'd like to more than just escort out of the building, but that doesn't matter in today's world now, does it? No, rather, in the U.S. government, we allow Biden and his administration to continue functioning. Everybody says, but they're lame duck. Well, it doesn't matter. He still has his pen. He still has the executive orders. And right now, he just lit the match. Because he just put everything into chaos, absolutely blindsiding Trump. How could this be allowed? How could this be procedurally allowed? Normally, you just go, pack up your business, and leave. But no, not Biden. No, he ain't leaving until he burns it all down. And I'm going to cover exactly what he just did. Yeah, fired up. That would be an understatement today. We're going to go through a lot of information. We're going to do it fast. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to Lisa. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, she'll put a link above. But we got to kick into this because we got a lot to cover. 53% approve of Trump's plans. The percentage is actually higher when it comes to the economy, mind you. This is of all the initiatives. This published on The Hill, a Pew survey. Not that we like these surveys. Pew Research Center, to be more specific. The poll found that 53% of Americans at least somewhat or strongly approve of the president-elect's plan for the future. 46% disapprove, but when it comes to the economy and his policies, closer to 60%. Mandate for change, important. I'm going to keep beckoning at that. Trump going rapid fire, scorched earth, putting appointments everywhere. He needs to because he doesn't want the left to know what to do, but they're hatching their own plan. Now, we warned you they would fight back. They have actually two options: fight back or burn it all down. Here he nominates Scott Turner for the Secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, Marty Mockery for head of FDA, stating that Americans have lost trust in the FDA. No, we've lost trust in continual, ongoing onslaught regulations, which is only meant to stifle business. But I digress for a minute. Dr. Dave Weldon to serve as director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, not many people speaking on that, but that becomes a much larger story for us to cover at a different day, not today. Jeanette Nishawat, I think I probably mispronounced it, will be the nation's doctor as the United States Surgeon General. Hallelujah for that. Alex Wong, this is a two-sided announcement here. Alex Wong will be appointed as assistant to the president and principal deputy national security advisor. And Dr. Sebastian Gorka, you've heard him before, you've seen him on TV, is now the deputy assistant to the president and senior director for counterterrorism. He is establishing his team. He is going to need the best of the best because what the Biden administration is doing right now. He needs a talent pool beyond any talent pool because what they're going to have to unravel, if they even have a chance to unravel it, that's how bad what Biden's doing right now is. Congresswoman Lori Chavez de Rima from the great state of Oregon as the United States Secretary of Labor. Scott Bessent, we knew this one was coming. He will serve as the Secretary of the Treasury for the United States. Elon Musk supporting that appointment also. And what forward actions has Trump announced? He plans to fire Jack Smith's team, the entire team, and then use the Department of Justice. This on the Washington Post to probe the 2020 election. We knew it was coming. He just added a little twist in there. But now the Mockingbird media has something else in play. Do you know they're actually trying to defuse the mandate for change? So terrified by this mandate are they that they're going to find any seed of doubt they can plant in your mind. Politico here. Trump won less than 50%. Why is everyone calling it a landslide? Compared to what happened last time, it is a landslide. They don't want you to have a mandate. They don't appreciate this mandate for change. You're actually scared of this mandate for change. New York Times. Are they parroting the same thing, or is this why we call it the Mockingbird media? The landslide that wasn't. Trump and allies pump up his narrow victory. I don't know if they looked at the Electoral College victory. They're going back to popular vote now, which Trump still, at time of this broadcast, we never know, there's still votes floating in, still leads on the popular vote. It's a landslide in the Electoral College, but that means a mandate. A mandate so bad that the U.S. government, funded by your and my tax dollars, decided to have therapy sessions. Managing stress during change. The Biden-Harris State Department holds therapy sessions after Trump wins. So bad is it that they had to question Blinken on it. As a senior member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, I write to you regarding reports of official post-election State Department therapy and listening sessions. How many sessions have been conducted? How many more are planned? What materials were used during the session? And what was the agenda? How much did these sessions cost the department? I'd like to know that too. Are these sessions being conducted overseas? And how the department held similar sessions in the past? And if so, what events prompted them? I'm curious. Daryl, this is curious. And you should be curious. This is how our government is functioning. They're not going to go away quietly. And unfortunately, the Republicans aren't helping themselves. Told you we will report both sides of the equation here. And why do I state that? McConnell will still have power. He will now be the chairman of the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Defense and the chairman on the Senate Rules Committee. I can't believe they did this. What these people are thinking. Republicans, you got to help yourself. You got to have enough coming against you. I'm going to show you how much is coming against you now because they had two choices. The Democrats, stand up and fight or burn it all down. I'm going to show you exactly how they may assure that Trump doesn't even have a White House to go to. Tucker Carlson agrees. Listen in here for a moment.
I think we're watching the most evil thing I've ever seen in my lifetime, which is the lame duck administration leaving the next administration with the world war, with the nuclear conflict.
He's witnessing one of the most evil things he's ever witnessed. An administration demolishing an inbound administration that has been given a mandate, not only a victory for president, but a mandate for change. But they won't allow it. The last actions the Biden administration will take before Trump takes over the White House. They're not fired. Their keys aren't taken. They still have their passwords. They still have their keys, and they still have the stroke of the pen. And they're going to use it. How are they going to use it, Justice? That's a good question. Biden administration moves to forgive $4.7 billion of loans to Ukraine before Trump takes over. I wouldn't forgive those loans. Oh, no, Ukraine. You're paying me back. I have my own problems in my country I got to resolve. Biden races to get out infrastructure spending. Let's spend more money before the outbound president goes because he knows that Trump's going to crush this. So rather than be appropriate and just put everything in neutral and hold until Trump comes into office, nope. We got to rush everything through, and we have to do it now. Liberals pressure Senate Democrats to confirm more Biden judges while they can. I went off on this the other day because some Republicans decided not to show up for the vote. And so liberal justices were appointed. Couldn't even show up for the vote. Republicans aren't helping themselves already. Put in the work. We voted for you. Put in the work. How many vacancies right now? How many nominees are pending? 12 more. Will they show up for this vote? Kamala Harris wasn't even there. She was in Hawaii. There was no tie-breaking vote. Golden opportunity for change, but nope. They didn't do anything about it, and Biden is ramrodding this all through. Biden makes final push for student loan forgiveness before Trump takes office. Another grand idea when we are in massive amounts of debt. Let's just give more money away for free. Even though you signed out a dotted line for the debt, not for it to be forgiven, we'll just let it go. I need a favor before we get to the worst of it. If you wouldn't mind, you appreciate what Lisa and I are doing in the format we do. We just try to bring it down to earth. We're not going to sit here with flashy screens, flashy graphics. It's not necessary. News is news. Facts are facts. References are references. If you appreciate that style of news and how we're bringing it to you and you want to support us, we're not just going to ask for your support. We're going to give you something in return. More news. Lisa Haven and I work on daily to provide our a restricted Republic family. We want you to be a member of that family by using discount code Independence at monthly checkout, restrictedrepublic.com. Get there today, support us, and in return, we'll provide you more information. The information that's important. We're not going to cover puppies and rainbows. No, we stay on the news, and we stay on the news that matters, and we try to refine it down to a point where you don't have to waste all your time looking through all the mainstream media headlines, all the websites that you got to review. We keep it in one place, and that place, restrictedrepublic.com. Get there today. But now let's get back to this broadcast. So what has Biden done that's so darn bad? Let me explain a portion of it. And it starts here. New York City ICE office fully booked for migrant appointments through late 2032. What does that mean exactly? New York City's Immigration and Customs Enforcement, now he's changed something. Under cover of darkness, stroke of a pen, he changes something. Is fully booked through October 2032 for appointments to process migrants released at the southern border. Appointments taken so they can be released. But you have to wait. And they're booked right now through 2032. Well, obviously, Biden doesn't like that very much. And what's the impact of that exactly? I'm sure you're asking that. So far, Biden's released over 800,000 non-citizens who were apprehended after illegally crossing the border. But we're going to make matters a bit worse here. The document reviewed by the New York Post lists the top 10 parole NTR appointment backlog locations. Of course, there's 40,000 non-citizen appointments in New York. Let's jump forward. Jacksonville, Florida, about 3,000. Atlanta, San Antonio, New Jersey, Chicago, Baltimore, Milwaukee, all fully booked through 2026 and beyond. So what is Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to find a way to process them quicker? Nah. No, they launched the app to help process it quicker, so they could bypass these in-person appointments with ICE to assure they're properly vetted, mind you. But that didn't work. I guess it wasn't quick enough. But he has another plan. He's just going to let them skip it. This also on the New York Post. Biden administration quietly loosening immigration policies before Trump takes office, including letting migrants skip their ICE check-ins. Welcome to America. How can a lame duck president, who has been told by the American public you're fired, still have the keys, still have the passwords, and still have the power to just with a broad stroke of a pen, let everyone free? What country are they going to leave Trump? Like, you thought this was bad enough? Nah, it gets worse. Remember the old days when the outgoing Democratic staffers just trashed the White House office for the incoming Republican? Biden's starting a war and collapsing our border. Much worse now. Things have changed. And he started it many months ago. U.S. will send Ukraine at least $275 million in new weapons in push to bolster Kyiv before Trump takes office. $275 million. Wonder where he's getting that money. Biden authorizes Ukraine to use long-range U.S. weapons in Russia. This tripped everything off. November 18th. The neocons want war. Biden is burning the house down. He knew very well, or at least those who advise him knew very well, what would happen based on Russia's own preset mandates. Use of a Western power's weapons by a non-nuclear state is an act of war by both countries that participated, Ukraine, and in this case, the U.S. Putin's always stood on that line. Always stood on the line. And then here's what you have. I don't know if you've seen this. There's the hypersonic missiles. One by one by one. Thankfully, not armed with nuclear warheads. Powerful, isn't it? Putin gave a warning to the West, and then he gives another warning to the West. I would like to emphasize again, and I'll just read the subtext here, that it was not Russia, but the United States that destroyed the international security system. By continuing to fight, cling to its hegemony, they are pushing the whole world into a global conflict. And are also ready for any turn of events. If anyone still doubts this, Russia is ready for any turn of events. And if anyone doubts this, there will always be a response. Now, locking in on that American base in Poland, there will always be a response. The most hateful, spiteful, destructive administration in our history isn't going away quietly. They're not simply packing up their belongings, turning the office over. No, they're going to burn the place down as they head out the door. And that will be the legacy of Joe Biden. And this is why and I love this statement because it went to just cap in. This is why any outgoing administration should be treated like fired employees. They should have their passwords and keys revoked. They are handed a box to pack up all their stuff, and they're escorted from the building, but not here. Oh no. We're going to give Biden and his administration just enough time to maybe potentially not even leave a White House for Trump to come into. That's how bitter and how angry they are. And that's how much they don't care about we the people. What have they done out of any of this to support we the people, to make our lives better? None of these changes I read to you. Oh, you could say student loan forgiveness, but that doesn't affect many people. Does that help you? Doesn't help me. No, rather they're giving away more of our dollars as they exit. Building out huge infrastructure packages, supporting Ukraine, giving more missiles, putting us into a world conflict. None of that benefits we the people. But then again, this administration never has benefited we the people. My concern now is what will Trump be handed when he actually walks into the White House? Will it still be there? Because Biden just backhanded him, and he's not done. And I'm going to cover so you know the impacts of this, because when Trump takes office and he has to sort through this mess and people say, why isn't he getting enough done? This is the backlog of backhands that he now has to contend with. Man, I love you all. Until next time, sorry, just drummed up over this. When you watch the inner workings of how this is going down, yet you're not surprised. But that doesn't mean you can ever accept it. I love you all until next time. Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.